Welcome back, guys. We're taking a look at some of the highlights from our first match. Lots of eyes were on BSG Luna as they had a very perfect spot in the middle of the circle for a very long time. Weren't able to make it happen in the end. But either way, it was a pretty fun, competitive match, Joel.
BSG Luna wanted to be aggressive, but the circle generation didn't allow them to be aggressive as the circles are always given to them consecutively. Talking about that one compound they hold for multiple minutes, allow BSG Luna to stand in their position and allow themselves the aggression at the later parts in the game. But all the other teams, they had to make the rotation. And see a lot of teams that fell through the process of rotations, and see RG Maximus going down early here.
In the fight, Genji Black had a bunch of fights actually up on the top of the hill. Rosar was nearly able to take the entire squad out, but couldn't do it all by himself. Then Genji Black had to fight up against OPGG Hunters. 3 of them do go down here with Cold in the back, who stayed alive for quite a long time, but OPGG Hunters went out in 8th or 7th place about.
Dramatic, literally 1v3 there. Very successful, getting 2 knocks and getting the 3rd member down quite low until, you know, he went down himself. But Genji Black feel like they're shooting back strong after kind of disappointing in terms of how they didn't do so well in the previous PSS finals, but they're coming back to PWM fresh and strong and really doing well for themselves as they approach the second game here.
Esther stayed alive for longer than I realized, but did go down towards the end, but only after knocking out Siege. So he did his job, at least, and in the end it was Genji Black versus MVP, Siege and Blue. They come up here together, and we were talking about this during the break, how generally you don't want to do this. It's too obvious when the two of you pop your heads together, and you could just be sprayed down.
It really did, and TMP, I think, easily could have gotten that one if they played the positions a little bit better. Of course, Genji Black played it right where they, and Team MP did not, and that's the result of it. Genji Black does get first place with 15 kills, 650 on the day in terms of just round 1, and they have multiple rounds to go where they can continue to still prove they're one of the top teams in this entire region of Korea.
Yeah. I have some stats here about teams that are good at TPP, but not so good at FPP, and also good at Miramar, not so good at Erangel, those kinds of stats. MVP, it says that they're much better at FPP, in fact. So getting second place here on TPP is really fantastic for them going into the later rounds. You also got Rocket Inv. They're a lot better at Miramar, so their 4th place makes a lot more sense. Also, OPG Hunters pretty good on Miramar compared to Erangel, so nice for them to pick up that 8th place there.
Look, still at the bottom here. Kongduk Ilisu. Because they've never really been away from the bottom for the past couple of weeks. And what that means for a team that was seemingly doing so well in the earlier parts of the PUBG Korea League. Protours not doing well here once again, and really not the best start. And as so do RG Century, was having a tough time. Really just getting around the rotation. They really didn't have much time to fight themselves, but really ended up being just an early exit. That didn't really count for anything. So can this PSS champions come back in PWM, really pull strong for the other 3 rounds that we'll be having around here?
Yeah, Genji Black kind of proving that they are one of the favorites here, I would have to say, after that, because it's not like they just got lucky circles and they won one fight, or they made it to, you know, 3rd place and then they won, you know, the final fight and that was it. They defeated multiple teams over and over and over. They went up against Africa Freaks Aries, the #1 team from Group B last week. They defeated OPGG Hunters, the #2 team from Group B, and then they went up against MVP, the #3 team from last week, and they won all of those battles, not including the battles they fought before, you know, we got to the last 3 or 4 circles. So this team really showing up today, and they look super strong.
And the best indication we got that from Genji Black was from that last fight against them and MVP to decide the chicken dinner winner. And they did that by playing it more correctly than MVP. But I feel like that's been the story all around from Genji Black in round 1. They made the right rotation. They knew when to come in, and they knew when to back out. And when they did approach teams to fight, they just clearly had the better shots than their opponents, and fragging more than they were getting fragged themselves. themselves. Just means that, you know, in the end, when that snowballs into actual results, you are going to get the chicken dinner, and Gen G Black show that they are the best team in this round here.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, they're not running around the map trying to kill every team anymore. You know, it's a lot more strategic in the way that they're approaching these fights, you know, and you can tell that they just have a bit more experience overall compared to MVP, because just the way that they handle those situations is really, really clean. The circle, talking about some other teams, PSG Luna, you know, the circles were so good for them up until the really crucial one where they've got to run up a hill with Gen G Black on one side and MVP on the other. That's one of the worst circles that you can get. They just barely got out-fragged towards the end by MVP. They only had 2 members left over, so it was a bit unfortunate for them. They still ended up in, I think, 4th place, 3rd or 4th place.
Just around.
Yeah, 4th place, because Rocket Inv Proud, the last guy that was available, that was proning in the hills there, did kill the last guy and net 3rd place for his team.
But I think PSG Luna got 3rd overall with all the kill count they got, and adding on to them, so it beats the 3rd place to get to that position. But you talk about PSG Luna, usually a team that's like to be proactive around the positions around the map, plays with the information at hand, and tries to approach teams with vigor. And they did that multiple games out, but this game, they were just given so many circles, and sometimes that's just not suitable for the right team, and PSG Luna needs to be adventurous. They need to be going around the map and trying to hunt down more teams in the process to getting the chicken dinner. But this time around, although they get 3rd place, I feel like you're right talking about how they could have done a lot better if they were been more kind of the usual style of PSG of trying to just move around to places and play with the information. But a little bit lazy there, obviously, being given so much in terms of rewards of the circle.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to move. I mean, their compound was one of the best in the circle, and they chose it for that reason, right? It wasn't like, oh, this one looks good, or this is just right in the middle of the circle. It was the multiple factors of, yes, it's close to the middle, but also it's up on a hill, it has a fence plus buildings, right? There's so much protection that you get in that compound, so I really understand why they took that one. Rather than laziness, I mean, they took what was given to them, right? They sat there, they had such a fantastic position. Anyone who was weak around them, they just sniped them out and racked up the kills until they had to move. I think they could have been a bit more aggressive towards the end and moved a little bit faster once that, you know, 2nd to last or 3rd to last circle came in.
And you're constantly maintaining your pace, Valdez, when you're talking about your early game defines your mid game, and that in the end defines your late game. And when you had to be so, you know, static in the way that you don't really need to move around the map for the most of the game. And late game, now the circle demands you that to move around so aggressively to get there, but you're not ready yet because your pace hasn't been adjusted to do that. And it is a dilemma for all in all, just talking about PSG Luna, who likes to play in their own way of just moving around to get the things they want. But when they're forced to stay in the circle, when they're forced to stay in that same house for darn over 10 minutes, and you know you're not going to be able to adjust your pace right away to really fit for the aggressiveness that was needed to go up against the sides of MVP and obviously Gen G Black, who in the end won it all. So PSG Luna, they're in a situation there, doesn't really fit their play style, but has to stay in that house no matter what, because that is a little bit better always to do, but you have to always be willing to change with the accordances of the situation.
Yeah, so that was it for TPP on Miramar. As we said before, we are going to be jumping into FPP on Miramar, and MVP, they netted 2nd for themselves going up against Gen G Black. Can't really blame them too much for that loss. They get a great spot, and my papers say that they're a lot better on FPP. So I'm excited to see if they can get perhaps even the chicken dinner this time around.
It really can, and MVP was not in the best situation getting to that last circle against Gen G Black. They were outnumbered to the beginning, but they have been looking around Gen G Black and trying to figure out the opportunities where they can get the win. Obviously, Esther was cut out in a 4v3 scenario, so made it a 3v3, but in the end, it was the positioning. It was the positioning area that really cost them at the end, but see, if they can recover from that and get a chicken dinner, we might find out.
Yeah, so guys, the delay is over. We're going to jump straight into FPP, our 2nd round of the night on Miramar. Here we do go. Flight path going to be very far over to the left side. So not going to be too happy if you're MVP or Quadro, for sure.
Campo Militar too far away from that position, but Quadro, they don't have any other homes. They're so used to playing the edge of the map, quite literally. As they like to go to Zarki and Erangel and Campo Militar and Miramar. Probably indicate to us they will jump once again. Of course, no one's really taking hold of Torre Ahumada on the path to Campo Militar, so that will be another alternative for Quadro to take that, especially if they don't see on the dry path with any team dropping in the area.
Yeah, if you really wanted to, you could just slowly parachute through Torre Ahumada, pick up one of the cars over there, maybe send 2 of your members over to Campo Militar and go from there. But it looks like Blossom is going to be challenging them up towards the top right. So they will not be alone in a couple of those top right locations.
See the Kings of Picado, PSG Luna, suddenly has rose to perhaps one of the best teams right now in Korea, and we can say that just based on the results they showed in the past couple of weeks. And PSG Luna, one of the toughest teams for anyone to really find out, especially in the early game. And they will be dropping in Picado once again. I don't imagine that other teams will be joining in the mix. Of course, we see Cacao not only going to Picado, they're just going for the typical Los Leones area. Of course, that has been shared between many teams, including Lunatic High as well.
Looks like we might have a fight over Hacienda, actually. As generally, this is AST's ground, but MBG MCN, Media Bridge Gaming, wants to come on in here and challenge them. The only thing is that only 2 members of MCN are coming in here to challenge up against Calvin Klein. The rest of them a little bit late in that challenge. And the circle, guys, is pretty nuts. We're probably going to show that to you in just a second here.
I kind of don't want to show it to the people. It's really bad.
Yeah. You can see it if you are in the studio watching. As we're not going to spoil it for the Twitch viewers, of course.
It's not on Hacienda, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's
just for clues.
Not very close to Hacienda.
Usually not a good thing.
Yeah. Seems like we want to show off this fight that's going to happen between these 2 teams at Hacienda. If you're not in a pro game and you're just playing solo queue and you want to land Hacienda, I would recommend that you don't, because there's going to be more than 8 people. There's going to be like 20. 11A able to get the knock here on Takariad. Nice little start for AST.
It's the first knock against Media Bridge MCN. Attack that looking towards the direction. Carried is going to be finished off, but the other 3 members now has to be careful. Just maneuver their positions wisely the way they approach AST here.
Yeah, and of course this is FPP. Here's the circle, guys. It's all the way down in the bottom left. Pretty good for Fire Gaming. Another one of our Chinese teams going to be down towards the bottom left, looting prison. It looks like Attack Die able to knock 1 member, but does get taken out in the end. That doing work for Zhao Yang.
See the comparison between these 2 teams right now with AST and Media Bridge is that AST is moving in a group of 3, even 4 sometimes. And the members of Media Bridge are too far separated. So if one member gets caught out, they're going to immediately go right to a kill. It's obviously not the best maneuver of positioning in terms of placing your position in players in the right place.
The last time we had a circle down here in the bottom left, it was actually very entertaining because this hilly area, or I should say mountainous area, towards the middle of the circle, there's so many little nooks and crannies and compounds and hills that you could use for cover. Generally, it makes it very competitive, especially for FPP, where it's a lot harder to spot your opponent. So I'm excited to see what we can get going over in that area a little bit later.
This is more important to see, where the next circle opens up. That's going to be the biggest important part of the story that we're going to be focusing. See MVP, right at El Azhar. They should like to land at El Pozo and really have found themselves always doing so in their previous week's matches, but they know that OG and Entis Aces in the mix right around El Pozo and is going to try to, I feel like they want to avoid the early aggression if they can, but get Sexy Pig here. Based on the last game, he mentions that he was very, very lucky.
Yeah. So lucky. That's what he says.
Really lucky.
I don't agree with him. I think he's being a little bit modest. Sure, the circle was good. The second to last one, the third to last one, they were good, right? But to get to the position to get that luck, you have to do something correctly first. So there you go. Genji Black, they like to loot up here in Monte Nuevo. The entirety of their team has dropped here, as you guys can see.
That's where the winning team came from in round 1. Monte Nuevo, very good position, obviously. Very popular area, even in solo games, especially due to the kind of very centralized location in terms of the middle of the map. Just a little bit left of Picado, and there's lots of vehicles which Genji Black really loves to utilize, and you always want to be that team to make sure you make the best of what you can, and Genji Black always tries to get the best of what they can, and here they're Monte Nuevo, not rivaled by any team, feeling good about their round 1 win, tries to continue on round 2.
Yeah. You guys can see the stats. These are the average stats for Genji. And if it's red, that means it's up towards the top, right? Maybe
above average.
Top 50, something like that. Or yeah, you're right, actually. It is above average, so top 50%, you could say. We have other colors that we might show off a little bit later. Not going to spoil them until they do come out.
It's going to be the poggers moment right there.
Yeah. But Sexy Pig has been popping off just a bit. See the previous ranks in terms of the last time these teams played was really high in terms of the damage for Ares. You don't see Genji Black in this ranking, at least.
I feel like this only applies when you're talking about that day 1. Of course, day 2 for the entire tournament, but day 1 for these guys, the Freaker Freaks Ares, have done so well to play 2nd overall, right behind OPG Hunters. Surprisingly, OPG Hunters did not get the highest average damage. Talking about their smart positioning allowed them the first place overall finish for them in that day 2, but for Freaker Freaks Ares, they done well in day 1. Want to continue on day 2, but first round just indicated that other teams are going to be in the mix to trying to get to top positions.
Black Beam doesn't have much outside of the double barrel, but Rage getting a nice angle, trying to shut him down here.
I know. Just looking around here.
There goes the car.
See ya.
Lost your cover. Car's going for a drive. Doesn't want to fight. He's a pacifist.
He'll come back home.
Yeah. Only when the player forces it to, right, Joel?
There you go.
So we do have a fight brewing here.
Rocket Armor feeling like they really need to fight this out, because we talked about Los Leones. Probably that one city in all of Miramar, or maybe in all of PUBG, that you don't really need to fight. You just need to farm out and just really need to leave, and there's a lot of cars always in the mix, and if it's outside the circle, just get to your next location, and it will be all that, but feels like last game around as well, Kakao has been picking off really unnecessary fights. Last time against Lunatica, this time against Rocket Armor. I feel like what they're getting out of it is supposedly valuable enough that they're going to risk losing the lives of so many of their players going to the mid-game.
After day 1, Easy Peasy Man was on top of damage for FPP. Kind of surprising to see CCJ there from Blossom. Their team didn't have much success, but still having very high damage numbers, at least for the one day that they played FPP.
You know what that means, though? The other 3 members of Blossom probably had 0 damage. Very close to it. We could make out of that, but you saw Isco and the other member of BSG Luna as well. Very characteristic of such an aggressive team. Oh no, this is the nightmare of minivans. No, the bus goes downhill.
They're just driving away at this point. Yeah, I think they heard Rocket Armor and they're like, nope, we're getting out of here.
We're keeping the scripts on this one, Valdez. We're keeping the script that the bus just couldn't get up the hill, but they were lucky that top team was on top of the hill.
It kind of looked like the bus couldn't get up the hill.
I don't think it did. Even if they wanted to, I don't think it would have made it up. We've had that in our past. We've had that in our own games as well. But bus can be a frustrating vehicle. Of course, we just await the next patch to arrive, where we get the nice muscle car.
He just threw that can in the river.
Oh, come on, Azran.
I can't believe he would do that.
Come on.
I thought, Azran was held to a higher standard, but I guess he's just going to be littering in our river here.
You know what? Azran and the rest of the Lunatikai, they've done 2 things wrong today. They fought at Los Leones in the early game in round 1. This time, they decide to litter.
Look at that, guys. We got a purple number for you. That's top 5 in terms of damage for Easy Peasy Man, but I know that's pretty poggers, but the entire team as a whole, they're all above average. So MVP has had a good tournament so far.
Very good stuff right there. And you do mention that not just about easy PC man solo performance for MVP. It's going to be the other three contributing just as well. Of course, 389 per game is absolutely insane, and not many teams, or many players even, pick that off. Dramatic.
Oh boy, look at that.
Zod. Dramatic, you lost just right there.
How did he?
You lost.
That was crazy. He was shooting at Moto K.
4 times. He has it 4 times. From that range?
Yeah, he was shooting at Moto K, and I guess he just didn't realize that there was Zod from Zod Gaming peeking him from another side of the mountain. And it's really unfortunate because he does not have his helmet anymore.
Don't mess with the CEO. Zod, the team owner and the player for this team. Serves a lot of roles in terms of his team success, and of course they haven't had too much success. They have to be honest with us here, and we want to do it here against Gen G Black. Will be a good start to kick things off.
Yeah, and because he did take those shots, of course, they are spotted now. So Gen G Black held down a little bit by Zod Gaming. Taking a look at Lunatic High's members, they actually looted Los Icos, and they're just swimming across the river trying to get to this mountainous area I mentioned before. Circle's going to be nice for lots of fighting in the mountains, as it will stick around that area.
It's going to be around La Triera, and a little bit of Validemar as well. Chimacera in the mix, along with this other teams that are trying to just make this rotation in. You see a lot of teams already at the right side of the circle and trying to get the direct route into this next one. And see how that really translates into in terms of fight opportunities for multiple teams in the mix here.
Tio just letting Phenom go by. He does have a Car 98, but he doesn't want to take any shots. There are more vehicles coming by, though, passing that information down, but they still don't take any shots. They're just going to go for Voichi instead. Hyper here as well, trying to head up the mountain. There are other Lunatic High members that are up near that mountainous area, so you got to be careful.
Voici going down for the shots coming from Tio. Very nicely done there. It's going to indicate that Kong Gillisuit has to make a detour, just go around in a different location, in a different direction to get to the next position. At least they're trying to avoid Lunatic High, but knowing Gillisuit, they're probably playing with very little information here as they make this rotation. Probably going to run into multiple other teams. Probably will trouble them later in this part here.
Taking a look at Los Leones, still has teams over here, OPGG Hunters and Cacao TV, grouping up on the very edge of the blue. I would have to think that a lot of different, okay, well, Hyper's going to be taken out here as he was just driving all by himself, just taking a nice afternoon drive up in the mountains, but Lunatic High had to shoot him down. Afternoon
drive and an afternoon drop for Gillisuit once again. They're going to have a hard time, but okay, OPGG Hunters and Cacao once again.
Oh, he just missed it right as Breakneck stops. Was predicting him to continue running, but actually the crouch there was too much. Again, Breakneck with a very lucky change of direction right at the last second.
They did come in at 20th place last time around, OPGG Hunters. Just right off coming off a PSS championship victory in the season finals. But we're looking at Cacao now. Homeowners of Los Leones not going to allow OPGG Hunters from Puerto Paraíso to make an invasion as successful.
Trying to poke his head around here at Breakneck. Gets some help from Rage, who finally lands that Car 98 shot. It looks like Cacao is going to win this fight overall. It's only Tamin that's left available. He's driving on 2 wheels here, trying to dodge as many shots as possible, I suppose. But yeah, he is going to get away alive, so OPGG Hunters will not go down in first place, or 20th place at least.
It's the first place at being bad, Valdez. And,
yeah.
Thankfully, it didn't happen to OPGG Hunters once again. Just means that the other teams now have to be fearful that going out in first place here, being that best worst team, will probably get you in a 20th place, which is something you don't want. So Argent Centurion just got away from that.
Got a drop coming in to Chumacera area. Got a couple of teams hanging around here, BSG Luna, as well as Rocket Inv. Actually, all 4 members of both teams hanging around that area.
See Zod Gaming just looking towards Rocket Armor. Both inside the circle. Really no overreaction needed there. Just trying to get the picks off if they can, but really not going to see any realistic fights between these two fights here.
Yeah, if I were Rocket Inv, I would just keep my position, not try to fight just yet. And the circle will be kind to you, as it's very centralized here. In terms of teams that are outside of the circle, we will see MVP all the way on the right side. Also, Afrika Freaks Ares has to come in just a bit from the north.
Talked about the mountainous ending possibility for you, Valdez. Right as when you saw the first circle, and we're definitely getting that. Right above Valle del Mar, just centering around La Triera, and see the other circles coming in.
Oh, wow. Those are some sick shots there as Sanjuk able to run over some of the members as they're knocked out of the car.
Zod Gaming here. See what they can do against Ojin and Taseis, who has had a really tough time in this round one. Having the best of days in Miramar. So look at the rest of Quadro here.
Well, thankfully, Young Val is doing a nice job with his dodging. As I say that, though, he is taken out, and Quadro is going to go down as the first team here.
Nova goes down as well. Those were the last two members standing, but Genji Black finishes off the rest. Does equate to Quadro going down in 20th. So we can AST and MVP, though, see what they can make out of this fight.
Olivne flying down the hill now as AST running into MVP. You'll see Alpaca actually already is not from here. MVP regretting their decision to come straight into Tumasera just a bit.
MVP, talking about them placing very well in the first round. Would have liked to just continue on the success, and obviously you mentioned it earlier as well. They play a little bit better, and they could get a chicken dinner in the second round, which could revive their hopes, but still feeling good about what they can do. But I see Afrika Freaks Ares, though, trying to be aggressive in this rush as we see.
Yeah, look at Daly just running on up with a grenade as well. A couple of knocked members inside there, but he's being shot down by a Grammatic up on the high ground as well with the suppressor, so he doesn't know exactly where he's being shot from, but you can see that Daly and Gukyeon trying to come on in here eventually. Speaking of which, BSG Luna suffering 2 casualties already to AST, one of our Chinese teams. Is doing a nice job shutting down one of the favorites here.
Genji Black, especially with Grammatic, trying to shoot from that angle, trying to get some key knocks. That will change the turnabouts of how this team fight between, see, talking about Afrika Freaks Ares. Going back to another action in a different church with Blossom. Trying to look towards Afterstars Red at the same time.
Zhao here, he's got his 8 times on the M4. It was a really good weapon to use, especially to just tap fire just a bit, not spray. Get that vertical stock and just do a bit. That circle, a little bit awkward. Pretty good for BSG Luna once again. Zod Gaming just on the edge there, but they're going to have multiple teams running up the mountain straight into them, so that can be just a bit dangerous.
There are going to be a lot of panicking teams, Valdez. Of course, when you do see a circle that extreme, away from the current pattern that we saw from before. Siege is trying to just man up with some members here.
Gonna get Vino, and he will get Proud as well. Siege coming on in here, taking out 2 members already just by himself.
Rocket in. Probably had to have noticed that MVP might be around the surroundings, but took that risk to just get out there blind, and does lose 2 members in the mix, trying to just get to the next location, but MVP seems like they get their first 2 kills of the game, and all of them now going over to Siege.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of loot for them to pick up too. 2 members, gonna drop a bunch of stuff for them. Looks like Siege gonna switch over to the Scar. Prefers that weapon just a bit. Let's take a look at the replay. He's got his AK out and just shuts them both down.
Good stuff there, Siege. Big much with the AKM. It's a slow motion, showing that each bullet connecting for him there for his first 2 kills. It's, of course, his team's first 2 kills, but and Rocket in as well. They could have had 4 members, but they're down to 2 after that rotation. See what they can make out of it.
Well, looks like Ectostar's Red as well is finally showing up this time around. Able to get a couple of kills there onto RG Maximus. Did suffer some casualties. Entis Ace, I was saying this before, they are one of the teams that is panicking. They're running straight up the mountain into Zod Gaming.
There's no way up there, and Entis Ace definitely knows that. Tries to make the fight while they have it available, but getting shot from all angles. Not really from Zod Gaming, but from elsewhere on the side. Sungjae just survives. Could have just imagined it would have been rocket armor. Shooting at them.
Unsung coming on in here with his team. They have a team behind them actually as they're fighting. So ROG Centurion not in a great place. DDSG is going to be knocked too. Kind of jumping around a bit. So many fights happening with this ridiculous circle. Going to knock down Motoke, but he does get knocked himself. Sungjae nearly able to do the work here. It's only up to Padak now, who is the only member of these two who is left available.
He knocks down Zod, and Padak's going to be the last one standing. Can he do it, though?
Oh.
He heard the shots coming from the right, but he has to know that Chris is going to be on the left. Hear the footsteps here.
Is proning, doesn't quite see him, though. Zod does get taken out. Finished off. Padak goes for the firefight and wins with just a tiny bit of health left over.
1v1 here between these two teams. Zod Gaming and Entis Ace. Temeri now looking for the finish, but have to be careful exactly where he knows where he is. Sure, Sungjae is providing the vision, giving him the exact route is where he's going.
Yeah, Padak taking some painkillers right now. Not going to be seen. Padak is looking the wrong way. Just covering his flanks, making sure there's no one behind him. New circle is even further on the right side of the map. Gonna be pretty rough here. Azran being caught out on the hill, finally finds some cover.
Sky, they have to make a move on. First, we do see them right at the bottom. Just travel a little bit north to get to where they are. Kona and the rest of the team picking up 8 kills so far, doing pretty good, but has to move their position just a little bit.
Wow.
Trying to get some kills here.
Fantastic shooting from Sexy Pig. Shuts him down in just 3 or 4 shots. Captain America trying to make it into the circle. The rest of Genji Black also taking some shots here at Afrika Freaks Aries. They had sights on these guys for a very long time.
Genji Black are not completely inside the circle quite yet. Make sure they get in, but trying to get some kills along the path here. Panak versus Temeria once again.
Looks like Motoke was rezzed at some point, and he's down once again. Doubt he was down the entire time. Temeria went back and rezzed Sungjae as well, so 2 members of Entis Ace still left alive here.
Still looking at MVP. Getting flashbanged here. Wonder if that will affect him. He's looking strong to go up against AST there.
MVP have a pretty good spot here. They've grouped up as a team. And they have cover behind. They just want to fight up against AST. They were taking a little bit of fire from Easy Peasy Man and gets taken out immediately. Taken out there. Olovne looks to be the last member of AST left available, so he just wants to survive from here. Still 15 teams left available.
MVP pretty confident in encroaching that situation there after getting that kill and the knock. Will be dramatic though, trying to just disrupt that fight from the happening. See them trying to just move into the next circle. It's gonna be the one that's farthest distance away from it. So see, still many teams left in this one, 14 teams left to go. Could mean that these key fights that will come up in these rotations will prove crucial for some of the teams.
Rocket Armor desperately trying to heal up on the edge of the circle. But so many teams up on the high ground already taking shots. Azran going ahead and trying to take them out, but notices that he's not fully in the circle just yet. Will begin to move in.
See Rocket Armor just holding their positions for now. The next circle will open up, and that's gonna be a few, just a 1 minute before the teams start to have to get a move on to the next circle. Of course, nobody is really far away from this relatively close circle that we're in, but to just conclude their fights a bit early, make sure they can get the movement onto the next one here.
Rose are finally going to be taken out. Afrika Freaks Aries goes down. Actually to the blue there.
Yeah.
They go down, Rose are, but either way, down in 12th place as a team, so not the best showing. Not the showing they had on day number 1 here at PWM.
Checking the wide vision for all the teams that are still left remaining here. 10 teams that we have to focus on. Not many full squad teams. Some of them more kind of MVP that we're looking at here in the screen. Kind of make themselves into the circle already, so it's going to be about them defending out, but Gen G Black is trying to attack into this next rotation. They're trying to get to it with also 4 members strong.
Lunatic High is a pretty good spot down there in the south. There's no real team that's challenging them up there. Rocket Armor, meanwhile, is out in the open. Easy Peasy Man picks off another and another make that onto Temeria. One of our solo squads left over, so Easy Peasy Man racking up 5 kills already, Joel.
Significant of the top fragger that he is, trying to go for more kills there, though.
Sexy Pig coming in.
What? You just know.
Oh, okay, finally sees him.
Huh?
Still has an Uzi, even this late in the match.
Easy Peasy Man just trying to go for more kills. We're still looking at these other teams. Gen G Black's gonna be in the mix, trying to get some more kills as well.
There you can see the teams will go down one by one. Team MVP, the only team with 4 members left available. And charging in here, trying to take out BSG Luna, who only has 2 guys left over.
Oh, they're so aggressive, MVP. They're trying to get the kills, and they're doing it right, but they're going to suffer a knock of their own hand with Alpaca going down.
He actually hit that grenade. Nicely done. We'll see if BSG Luna can actually challenge 2v4. Not going to be the easiest spot for them. Both of these teams need to get inside the white circle as well.
If it turns to be a result where BSGO wins out 2v4, that will be MP hitting themselves on the heads here.
Trading some knocks. Isco going to get another one, but he's extremely low. Runs back into the blue for just a second. He's trying to skirt it on the edge here, but he does get taken out by Alpaca. BSG Luna going down in 7.
But MVP lose so much in that process. Wonder if he can get all the knocks. Trying to get rest up here, because they will need as many members as they can, trying to find out against the rest of the remaining members. As you can see, most coming from Lunatic High, as you see on the screen. 3 members have to get through here.
Yeah, it should be Lunatic High against MVP unless something crazy happens. School's going to be taken out. This Rocket In finally does go down. He's got some shots here on Alpaca. If he could take one of them out before the real fight begins, that would be fantastic. Not able to do so, though.
4v3 in favor of MVP over Lunatic High. Of course, we do have the one-man squad from Gen G Black with Sexy Pig staying alive outside the circle. Iron Man in the circle, trying to stay alive.
What a weird predicament. Sexy Pig, he just keeps on healing up, but I doubt that Iron Man will be spotted and taken out. So it should be Gen G Black going down in 4th here, after Sexy Pig runs out of first aid kits.
The more important questions now is that Lunatic High versus MVP, who's going to get that one? MVP plays 2nd in the last one. You talked about them pulling the right strats, could get them at 1st in the next round, which is round 2 as we see right now.
Yeah, MVP's so good at FPP, but Tio getting the snipe on a Siege.
Hey.
And Alpaca finishing off his teammate.
Okay, what?
Not sure about that one.
Okay, look at it.
Blue actually being shot by Sexy Pig, and now prone in the field, Azran up on the high ground takes him out. Perfect position here for Lunatic High.
Lunatic High, 3 members as he can just maneuver around the rest of the members that will be looking very, very weak in comparison. Iron Man just trying to stay alive as 2nd as this fight concludes.
He's playing it perfectly too. Do not show your face. You wait until the teams fight, and then you go. Easy peasy, man, gonna be knocked. Alpaca out in the blue here.
Iron Man done it. He did it. Iron Man got the 2nd that he wanted. Alpaca's still trying to heal up as much as he can, but he's not gonna feel that bad here, and we're gonna see them going down, and Iron Man gonna get at least 2nd.
Now he can show his face. Now it's about getting as many kills as possible. Picks off Azran. He's still alive. He's still kicking.
This is the 8-time scope on an M4, and this is looking good right now. Active Charge Red. Iron Man trying to get as many kills as he can.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate. Did get headshot there, so he has to back off and heal, which means that Azran in the smoke will be rezzed.
Lunatic High knows exactly what the situation is. 3v1. No other option about it. There's gonna be them trying to just rush in for the rest of the kills here, and Iron Man just trying to get as many as he can.
Grenade.
Some miracle grenade has to come through, but it's going to be too short.
Yeah. Trying to get an angle here. Would love to know how many nades he has, because if he could just get a little bit closer, he could cook a grenade to perfection and get it right down. As Lunatic High a little bit grouped up here.
Iron Man just trying to get as many kills. I don't think he's expecting a win, but we could just hope for the craziest things to happen.
Oh, he's going all the way around. We got the blue coming in. Oh, he actually prones in the blue.
Okay, he's just going to give off, not give off that extra 10 points, which is a smart play to make in. That's a very nice play coming from Iron Man, very much a veteran in this league. He actually came from MVP in that transfer. That came from him going to from MVP over to ActiveStars Red. So probably would have felt good that he won out against MVP all by himself there.
That was a good play. I actually didn't even think about that. Just give it up. You know, you're not going to 1v3. He probably didn't have any more grenades. He just decides, hey, let's not give them any more kills. Even 10 points can be the factor deciding whether or not you get first or second. So denying them the kill, and Iron Man playing it perfectly. Really got to give him props.
Iron Man, you got to feel really good getting that second place instead of a third that he easily could have gotten if it wasn't for MVP and Lunatic so distracted with each other. Eventually, Lunatic does come up with a chicken dinner in round 2, showing that the strats are coming in front of these. FPP has been working out, gonna survive as many members as it can, and does beat out MVP, who were the second contention in trying to get that chicken dinner.
Yeah, Lunatic High, they got 15th place after day 1. That is a terrible place to be in, so to get this you know, chicken dinner here in the second day is fantastic for them.
This is not the way that we saw how to play Hacienda in competitive. Got to stick together, trying to get as many maximum firepower in short range. Also saw Lunatic Eye. These were the processes that got them into the final circle in the end, trying to get some picks onto Kong the Goose, which did have a tougher time in the end, but look at that, we missed that one. Yeah,
they were on a motorcycle and he just ran them both over.
I feel like MVP did extremely well, just as well for Lunatic Eye, for them to just face off in the end. Hopefully have just an equal as an opportunity to get the win there, but Lunatic Eye won out in the end. There's no questions about it, and we got MVP getting very much a derogatory second once again, which is going to be third overall with ActiveStars Red getting second, snatching it over from them. MVP really wants to talk it over to make sure in the next rounds to come, they want to play out the last moments of your PUBG game as efficiently as they can so they can get the chicken dinner next time around.
Yeah, we saw some nice highlights in this one. Kind of the anticlimactic ending for sure, but it was very competitive over in this mountainous territory in the southwestern area of Miramar. And Genji Black, they did not have very good luck with these circles. They were all the way on the top left side of the circle, the northwest, and they had to drive all the way in, and to make it to 4th place is not that bad, given the circumstances.
And exactly what it is, Valdez, and talking about Genji Black, had to overcome what wasn't given to them, and really make the best of what was given to them, and that's what I think they did a little bit of both of that. They're trying to get into top 5 with Sexy Pig eventually coming down in 4th, and it's gonna be fine for Genji Black, who did that just with chicken dinner in the round 1, and a top 5 finish once again in round 2. Gonna make them feel very good and heading into the Erangel matches to come in the later matches.
And that was the end of the match. As you guys can see, no shots fired to end that one. So we are gonna be heading over to the interview. Curious to see who we will be hearing from tonight. But of course, Joel will help us with the translation, so I'll hand it over to you, Joel.
Could be really Genji Black or even an MVP. Could be the interview candidates here. But we are reaching the halfway point of PWM as we head over to the interviews to see how the teams are feeling after the 2 maps of Miramar being played here. We're going to go with Genji Black though. We're going to meet up with Grammatic to see how he feels. It is your first time standing in this crowd at PWM. My name is Grammatic from Genji Black. You were pretty enthusiastic after that round 1 then, but you seem a lot more calm after this round here. Talking about that first round, it was a very strong performance for you guys, and you seemed very enthusiastic and was rightful of that. Last time around, it was a 6th place overall. It's not the biggest downfall, obviously, but anything that you want to kind of revive over and try to make it better for the next time? You know, we're not done with all the games quite yet, but we do have, of course, internally we've been just going through what we did right, and trying to just trying to get the championship for every little thing, and we're on our way. And something that we want to just go over all these hurdles and the struggles to become a great team. And I feel like today's game is an example of us showing that we want to really improve ourselves as a team overall. Feels great right now. Of course, the last week was a struggle for you guys, and you guys had it back. You know, I think we just did bad. It wasn't really a struggle. That's just us doing bad. So there's a difference in that. Pretty sure right now, 5th and 6th, everything is on the line, and Genji Black just feels like 5th and 6th is not really the happiest result for this team. Knowing the prestige of what your organization represents, you do have a lot of kills that you've gotten through, especially with you, Grammatic, individually doing so well. Did you have any objectives coming into today's matches? Now we hit the bottom, dead bottom if you can tell it, and we just want to come back and rise, and we want to do it systematically. We want to be organized, and from shot calling all the way to the minimal things that we can do on a micro level of things. It's really important that we stay organized and systematic in the way we can approach the games. I feel like that's kind of the objective we have as a team that we want to get through here. So. And for the upcoming matches, we do have better results, hoping to be expected for our team here. Of course, a lot of teams will be expected with Genji Black. Something that has been always praised is the mechanics from individual players that have ousted the other players from different teams, and something that you guys take a lot of pride in. And how does that really work into trying to mingle that with the systematics as well you talked about? I feel like, you know, when the geniuses of PUBG, once they start forming a brain, it becomes very, very scary. And I feel like that's us in the making. I feel like we can become smarter as players and as a team, and it's something that we look to expect from you guys in the future. Very strong proposition from you guys once again in how you guys approach today's games, and with Grammatic, you saw that 1v3 between you and OPGG Hunters. A lot of people were thinking around with MVP. 3v3 was kind of the biggest question up in the air in terms of how you guys handle that. We're talking about the ridges and the hills that you guys use that information to go to that 2v1 scenario in the end. And what was the thought process during that play there? The last situation, it was really mostly about 4v3. We tried to put out Esther on the flank, behind the car to be in that all by himself. So he tried to make sure to get us as much information as can to the end of the game. The last circle did come around in the very end circle. I thought us being a lot closer to the center of the circle made us give us the advantages to go forth here, and we tried to look towards the two players who were just going around, and we tried to just go. I tried to go by myself on the left, and while the other two players provide the cover. I feel like we all did a good job of that. So I feel like Esther did not die in vain, and he did provide the information for a teammate. And that will be, Genji Black right now, 15 kills. There's a big gap, with especially from the kill points. And Genji Black is looking good after the halfway point. Probably going on to rounds 3 and 4. You guys know that you guys were legends of that match, especially in South Georgia Pool. Talking about rounds 3 and 4, how do you feel about going to the matches now? Don't need to say anything. Speechless. If I say, just go watch us, and that's all we're gonna need to say here. Really not much words needed for Genji Black, who's been playing so well in recent weeks. Of course, we're going to be looking towards the next week and the next matches to come to Erangel Mass and see how they do there. Of course, what do you think about that? Obviously, the good interview coming from Grammatic.
I mean, Grammatic, he's overflowing with confidence. You can tell it, right? He feels it within his team. They're putting in the time to, within the team house, within the two teams that they have, to just reach the next level of strategy. But guys, we're going to take a 10-minute break before we get to the Erangel matches. We'll be right back.